Alright guys, well 4L80-E, let's go ahead and see what year model this is. 8MDP. It's on a van, I believe it's a Venture van, 2008. And I got this from a tranny shop down the road, and I hope I don't get interrupted here. I'm going to try and film this 4L80-E for you guys. I got it like this cleaned up. Here is all the bolts. I'm going to have to sort them out. And there's the valve body in that bag, and both sprags, the overdrive and low reverse sprag. There's my two bands. What I do on all these, I check, actually I don't check them, I just replace them. I replace all the bushings. I put a complete bushing kit, as you see here, that actually the bushing for the case, it's spun. But that's no big deal. That's a common issue. Just put a new bushing on it, and that'll take care of it. Here it is. I got it already hanged up on my holding fixture, and here is the parts that are going to go in it. We have a complete overhaul kit. We have a Transgo shift kit. We want to correct runaway line pressures on the 4L80Es, and this comes with the boost valve. And it comes with the pressure relief valve. Being an 04 and up, this is a 2008. The extension housing bushing is different. It's a different size. It's a little larger. If you put the regular bushing that comes in the bushing kit, I mean, it'll just go through it. And here it is, a complete bushing kit. This is what we're going to install in it. The kit comes with all the molded pistons. They're really not necessarily, I already checked them, and they look in good shape, and they can be reused. See, you see there one right there, that's the one that goes on the overdrive drum. But we're going to go ahead and put new pistons in it. This is the paper roll rings and seals, or how a lot of people know it as overhaul kit. It comes with the center support bolt. It comes with the overdrive piston housing bolt. Now this bolt, if you don't be careful with this bolt, it's aluminum. If you over torque it, I mean, you'll break it. But in the shift kit itself, I haven't opened this yet, but in the shift kit itself, comes with a tough bolt. Here's the filter, one that doesn't break. There's our filter, and alright guys, well I'm going to go ahead and remove all the bushings. You don't need to see me remove all the bushings. I'm going to go ahead and take them all out, and then start installing it, start assembling the sub-assemblies, and we go from there. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do here, I got you guys upside down. This is the rear of the case. I'm going to go ahead and take the snap ring off, take the seal off, and then install my new bushing in there. I hope that the camera is not going to be on the way here. But I'm going to go ahead and lift up a little bit and get the snap ring out with some snap ring pliers. There we go. I'm going to take this seal puller. We'll get that out. Now this seal here, what it does, you have a loop circuit coming into the rear of the case, and it goes in through this little hole. I know you cannot see it because I got you on the opposite side, but there is a loop hole, and it seals, and it actually goes into this hole that you can probably see a little bit, and then it goes into back to this seal here, and it squirts fluid to the extension housing. And here's the bushing that goes in it. This is the new bushing that comes in the bushing kit. Now there are some updated bushings, or no spun bushings, or whatever they want to call it. But I just use the original type bushing, and it works very, very, very well. I mean, I don't have no issues with it. Here we go. Now originally this bushing, it's pushed away or to the inside of the case a little bit. What I do, I just leave them flush here, because when it's pushed out like the way it comes originally, only half of the bushing is holding on the case, and that's probably one of the issues or one of the reasons why the bushings walk out. You know, they just come out, and then they create a lot of issues. Okay, so now we put our new seal, and what I do here, I just get me a oversized bushing that'll kind of fit the seal and kind of drive it in. I just drive it in enough to get the snap ring on there, and I'm going to use the snap ring to finish pushing it in. I think I got enough room for the snap ring. Let me clean this piece off right here. And whenever the snap ring goes where the groove is at, it'll open automatically, and the seal will be in perfectly straight. There we go. As you can see that the snap ring, it's all the way inside the groove. I just want to tap it one more time, make sure. And you can feel it bottom out. Now I'm going to lube it up a little bit, the bushing itself. I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing over and get you guys a shot of the inside of the case, or I'll just go ahead and start assembling the planetary gear assembly, the one that's going to drop in first, and we go from there. Okay guys, so everything that took a bushing is here in this bench. Here we see the pump cover, the pump body. It takes a pump bushing. Here we see the pump cover or pump stator. Takes a bushing here. Takes a bushing right there in the rear. Here we have our forward drum. Takes a bushing here. Here we have our center support. It takes a bushing here. Here we have intermediate shaft. This one takes 2 bushings, one here in this location and one in the rear. Here we have our front planet, and it takes a bushing here. And here we have our overdrive drum. It takes 1 bushing there and one in the rear. This one goes here. It takes a solid one in the front here. This one goes here. Now on the extension housing, remember I told you about the original one? This is the early model. That thing just goes through. And this is the 04 and up. That's what's going to be pressed in there. This is the center support bushing. That goes in here. These 2 bushings are the ones that go on this shaft. One in the front and one in the rear. Both are the stator bushings. This one goes here. I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to see through the little screen on the camera, and this other one goes right here. Alright, so and this one here, this little one, it goes for the forward drum. Here's all of our old bushings, our 3 seals. I'm going to go ahead and install there's one that goes here. That one, I don't see it, and I already took it out. Oh man, that really is not good. Okay, anyways, I'll find one and install it. Alright, well, some of you guys asked me and made that comment if I do soak my frictions, and yes I do. Here we go. That's tranny fluid. You've probably seen this little cover here on my other videos, but there we have it. I dipped them in there, for a couple of minutes, maybe like 10 minutes, and then I hang them there, and they're draining there. and that's just the Allison friction that I have left over from one that I just did not too long ago. Alright, well, let me go ahead and install these bushings on all these components, and I'll get back to you. Okay guys, so everything that needed a bushing is already installed. As you see here, I already got this bushing in here. I've got the pump bushing already installed. I'm going to go ahead and stake it right now. There's our bushings for our tube here, both of them, front and rear. Here's our stator bushings already installed. That's our rear. This is our front. And found it. I found that bushing. I was getting a little bit worried, but there was no reason for panic. I got it. Alright, center support bushing. Now the center support bushing, it has a slot in this area here, and that slot has to align with that hole, and it also has a lube hole here. I don't know how is it gonna turn out. I don't know if light is gonna come out through there. There we go. But see that? You make sure that that hole is clear, and there's no restriction there. If you see no light coming out from there, drive the bushing out and realign it. He has to align in this position here, and he has to align in that position as well. Alright, well, here's another drum with the bushing already in there, both of them, front and rear, and our forward drum as well. Now this forward drum, you have to kind of look at and inspect where the sealing rings ride here. I don't know if you're gonna see it very well, but this is in good shape. You will see that the this shaft here where this two sealing ring goes makes a groove in the forward drum. And why does that happen? That happens because of bushing wear. If bushing wears, it's going to cause a lot of issues. And most of the problems on this transmission, like falling out of gear or any other transmission issue, it's because of pressure loss passing through the sealing rings because of the bushings not installed correctly. Or not installed correctly, but actually not installed at all. Now here, remember that that seal I showed you in the case, it seals right here. Fluid goes into this hole. It travels through the extension housing, and it goes through that hole and lubricates the yoke. The yoke that goes in there from the drive shaft, it lubricates it, and that hole also needs to be aligned. I already installed my new seal on this one. Now I haven't installed the front seal on my pump body here because I need to enlarge the return feed right here. Alright, so everything is already bushinged up, and sorry I did not show you the removal and installation. I mean, I'm trying to get a little speed here. I want to get it back to these guys. But I do have a bushing installation video on a 4L80-E, and I mean, you can check that out. I used the shop press to install them, but I mean, it's the same procedure. Bushings are bushings, and just lube them up a little bit. Don't go crazy on this thing. I mean, just make sure they are lubed up. That's just gonna make it easier for you on the assembly. Going back with it, kind of lube them up a little bit. You want to lube your surfaces where they ride as well, if you want to. Lube up the bushings. There we go. I believe that's it. Alright, let's start assembling this thing. Okay guys, so what I want to do now, it's assemble the planetary gear assembly in the rear. So I'm gathering all my components here. I know I'm running around. It's late at night, and that's the time that I use to actually produce this content for you guys. So the first thing that I'm going to grab my my rear planet assembly. And on that planet, I am going to install, here's the shim. The shim goes in first. Get a little bit of a green assembly lube just to hold it in place. Drop it in there. Now here is a 3-piece bearing that's going to go next. And I also want to put a little bit of assembly lube just to hold them in place. And as you see the way I have it here, it has a flat side, the bottom, and then the top. Well, this goes to the top. Put some more assembly lube, hold it together, and there we have it. This is the way this goes. And I'll grab my rear planet assembly, and I'll go ahead and install it here. Just hold it there. There's another 3-piece bearing that goes here. Here are the 3 pieces, the races, both races and the needle bearing. Same application. Put some assembly lube here. Hold them together. Install the bearing. And you already seen me lubricate the bushing. Let's go ahead and install this piece in here. Okay. Now we get our snap ring. And install our snap ring. There's a 4-tab washer. Same thing. Apply some assembly lube. I use the green to hold all of my washers and my little bearings together so they won't fall off. Okay. So now here it takes a plastic washer. This is going to go next. This being a late model, it only has 2 tabs. I'll put some assembly lube on both tabs. And on the late model has 4 tabs. I mean, on the early model has 2 more tabs. 4 tabs, that's what it has. And this planet, being a late model, only has 2 holes. One right here, and one right there. Okay, so we put this in here. Stick it with our assembly lube. Stick it in there. Alright. What do I do with my low reverse roller clutch assembly? Just drop it in there. Remember, already lubed up the bushing there. Now we're going to assemble these 2 pieces together. Now here we have a lube hole. Let me see. Okay, you got it. And here we have another lube hole. Okay, we're going to align these 2 lube holes together. If you look in there, I mean, we are going to be about right there. Okay. Now those 2 holes are aligned, and what you want, why you want to do that, is because you want lube oil that's going to go into here through this hole. Is going to go into in between the shafts, and is going to lube the inside of the direct drum. Is going to lube the bottom or the rear planet assembly, and fluid is going to come out through that hole to lubricate the rear planet. This is the sun gear for the rear planet, and then the front planet as well. So he's going to be squirting oil in between both planetary gears assemblies. We drop that next. This being a 4L80-E does not take a silencer ring here like on the turbo 400s. They take a silencer, like a plastic ring that sits in here. Some of the 89 or 90 model 4L80Es, you may see that, but it's very rare. But on the 400s, they do have a silencer ring. Now you install your front planet assembly. There we go. Now we have another 3-piece bearing here. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and assemble that. Same application, assembly lube, lube it up. Now you're going to lube the rear, the outside of the brace, and you're going to drop it in there. And kind of tack it in there and make sure it stays there. And there we go. There it is. Now this brace right here, where you at? This brace right here, it's going to go on the rear. We're going to stick it here. We're going to stick it in the rear of the center support. But before we do that, we need to install this in here. Yeah, that's a good idea. Lay it on its side. I know it balances itself, but lay it on the side. You don't want no accidents here. You don't want to hurt yourself. Alright, same application there. Green assembly lube. Stick it in here. Remember, we already pre-lubed our bushing. Now this center support, the Overhaul kits, they come with two separate styles of sealing rings. Now this is rebuilder's preferences, depending on who's building the transmission. I mean, they would prefer to use Teflon rings or this other type of sealing rings. I like to use this, and a lot of people swear by these closed type sealing rings just because they're in one piece and they believe that they're probably not going to leak. But the reality is that if your bushings are worn, it doesn't matter if you use this or you use this. I've used 604 stator sealing rings on the center support on these 4L80s, and they work very well. I mean, they're kind of chrome type. They don't wear as much. Now there's a lot of theories about how the sealing rings go. I am not sure the camera is going to pick that up. But there's like little dimples in there. Let me get closer. Let's see if it auto focuses. There's little dimples in there. Maybe my light's too bright. But on some applications like the 6L80Es, yes, they do have to be in a certain way. On the 4L80Es, they don't. I mean, usually you would have like little dimples going in between an applied circuit like this. Dimples going up, dimples going down, and that would be your applied circuit. I mean, on some units they do. It is critical. On this one, it's not. We're just going to go ahead and drop them in there. I just open them up a little bit. Install them. They're a little open. That's another reason why builders don't like it, because they stay open, and when you try to drop, where I'm at, when you try to drop the direct drum in here, they get a little bit hung up, and you know, sometimes they break. But I mean, I guess it just depends on practice. That's just my opinion. You know, some of you guys will agree with me, some of you guys won't. So there's our sealing rings installed. Now here on this is our second apply piston. We're gonna put our new lip seals. Now this drops in like this on the center support. Always the lip faces down. I'll explain to you why. Some of you guys that already watched my other videos, you know what I'm talking about. Why the lip seals go a certain way, and you cannot put them upside down. This is not the right one. Here we go. Go ahead and install this. So here the lip goes down. The lip goes down on the outside and on the inside as well. And the reason for that is that apply oil will come from underneath, and that's what the lip does. When the fluid comes in, it expands the lip and it pressurizes it, and then it compresses the clutch. It goes up and compresses. So that's why the lip always goes to the apply side of the circuit, which is to the inside of the drum itself. Okay, let's lube this thing up as well. And I'm using gold Transgel today. I like to use the blue one because the blue one, you can tell right away that it is assembly lube. And this yellow one here, if I use it to lube up my front seal, and if I use too much of it, it'll melt and it'll start dripping down, and you may think that your rear main seal is leaking when it's not. It's just kind of rotate a little bit until it falls all the way down in the pocket. There we go. I'm going to get my return spring. I'm going to go ahead and, this is not fuzzy. I mean, you can install it by hand. Just press it down. There we go. Alright. I'll get my special tool here that I used to install this. Get that out of the way. Go ahead and stand this big boy up again. Drop in your center port. There we go. Let's see why it's making that noise. Okay. Yeah. That's why we need to be careful with these things. When it fell, one of the rollers fell. It goes in this position here. Spring goes in first, and then our roller. There we go. Just be careful. Be careful, guys. And it fell again. And it fell again. Let's see here. Are you falling? Trying to give me a hard time tonight. Alright. There we go. Got something to lube with my fingers. Attaboy. Are we good? Good to go. Alright. There we go. That's beautiful. Now this assembly here is not making a lot of noise, and it's not loud. Some of them, like the 470Ws, the sprag assemblies, you will turn it and they will make a squealing noise. Let me be quiet a little bit. And I don't know if you can hear that, but that's normal. Somebody asked me a question. I can't remember what unit he was working on, and he's from overseas, and he emailed me from all the way over there and asked me, you know, about that noise, and that noise is considered normal. Alright, so here we have it assembled, and like you see that, this is what I'm going to use to carry this whole assembly, to drop it in there. Now we got a seal here, and we need to change that. Alright, let me get the tools to get that. Be right back. Okay, we're back. I'm just going to use this seal puller here. Get in there. Thing out. What do you do with okay. I'm going to use a smaller hammer. Tap this in here. Barely fits in the pocket. Attaboy. Now we lubricate. This is where our rear cooler line fitting goes into, and the rear cooler line fluid comes from the cooler itself. So you need to have a good cooler on your radiator. If you don't have a good cooler on your radiator, or if you don't flush the cooler, remember that the fluid will go into here, and this is what lubricates the whole gear train. So if you don't have a good cooling system, or if your vehicle is overheating, or I mean you're having issues with overheating, you know, in your engine, the fluid is not going to get here cool enough to cool or lubricate, and sometimes the cooler inside the radiator will expand, and it will not allow the fluid, you know, to go back to the transmission and lubricate this area right here. So just be careful and make sure that you put a new seal right here. I know that, I mean, it's very rare that they go bad. I mean, the fitting just goes in there and just seals, but you got to put them on, man. All right, let's lubricate here the rear a little bit. This is what's going to go, and it's going to pass that seal and the case bushing that we installed. All right, so we have 2 snap rings here. One is going to go underneath, and the other one is the one that's going to go on top of the center support once we go inside of the barrel of the case. And I think that's what we're going to do next, and install that in there, and then we start assembling the other sub-assemblies. Alright guys, well, let's go ahead and install our low reverse band assembly. Kind of drop it in there. I'm going to use the back of my hammer here to tap it in there. Just go far enough that you're going to be able to put it on the lugs on the case. Let me poke it a little bit with the screwdriver here, see if we can make a difference here. I don't want to hit the camera. We need to retry this. Alright. Go ahead and get your screwdriver and center it. There we go. It's already centered. Nice and centered. Put the screwdriver in the apply area. Now we're going to drop in our thin snap ring. Drop it in. And it's going to go on the bottom groove. It has 2 grooves. I don't know if you can tell. You can see it from there or not. But this thing's moving too much. There we go. Alright. If I lean a little bit here, you're going to see 2 grooves in there. Let me see if I can get closer or not. Let me see. There we go. 2 grooves. You got one where the snap ring's at, and this is where the other snap ring's going to go. Alright, let's go out. Alright, well, here goes nothing. So I got my assembly held by those big pliers, but before that we need to install the race. The race right here that goes on the case itself. Now we lower this thing down. Now kind of go a little straight there. We're already all the way down. With no issues with that case bushing. And as you see here, there's a little triangular tab right there that it autofocus. Oh, come on, autofocus. Let me go out a little bit. I hope that you can tell, but one of them is triangular, and the guy's right there. And the reason for that, you have a center support bolt on the case itself. We're going to look at that in a minute. This snap ring that goes next, let me zoom out. It's flat on one side and it's tapered on the other, and the tapered side goes up towards you. Go ahead and install that. Okay. There we go. It's all the way in there. Let me grab my intermediate frictions. Put our wavy first. steel, friction, steel, friction, steel, friction. It takes 4 frictions or clutches, whatever you want to call them. Now this notch right here is really not that important. A lot of people will argue. It's just a steel plate. Some cheap aftermarkets, they don't even have that. So there we go. Now you want to try and align the splines a little bit. I'm not going to use no special tool today for this to drop the direct drum. I'm just going to use my hands and I kind of eyeball it there. Okay, so now we drop our intermediate band. Make sure it's lugged in here in the case. Make sure it doesn't go out of position. Now let's go and talk about the center support bolt. Okay, so here's our center support bolt. It's a 12.3/8 socket, and the shift kit comes with these 2 little seals that you see here, and the seals are going to go on the apply ports there. So we need to install this this bolt, and it should go in pretty tight. You can do it with an impact, but you don't know how tight it is because sometimes it goes in real hard, and this bolt has to be tight. See, I stopped right there. I know I could use my torque wrench. There we go. Until I can't move it no more. I'd rather for it to be real tight than for it to be loose. And now with a 5/16 little punch, let's drive these seals here into the center support. So you got reverse and intermediate or second clutch apply, and that's where you apply them at. This is intermediate, we already installed. And of course we don't have our direct drum installed, so these 2 ports, one is for reverse and one is for direct. The direct drum applies with the low reverse band to create reverse, and you have 2 apply circuits, one for direct and one for reverse. Alright. Okay, so let's assemble our drums here. Now this lip seal here goes up because it's going to seal on the direct piston here. So that's why it's going to go up. Let's go ahead and install that in here. Lube it up. Make sure it's nice and lubed up. Already lubed up the outside and then the inside here. Now the pistons are marked. It's very faded, but it does say direct on it. So direct goes on the direct, and yeah, this one, yeah, you can tell on this one better than the other one. It says forward. This is going to go on the forward drum. All right, let's go ahead and lubricate our new pistons. You want to lubricate the inside where the lip seal rides. Now we lubricate the outer side of the piston. We're lubricating the lip. Alright, just put enough of it. Put a lot of it if you want to. Just make sure that you don't tear any lips. Attaboy. Now we get our lip seal installer tool. And kind of like work it a little bit. twist a little bit. You're going to feel a little bit of pressure where it kind of wants to go in. Sometimes the new ones are a little hard to install, but that's our goal here, to install them. There we go. One side falling in. This side needs to fall in as well. Keep a rag handy. You're gonna need it. Alright, here we go. Come on now. Let me see if I can get a grip. No. It's almost there. Don't cut it. There, boy. Alright. Get that to the side because we're going to go to the foot press and we're going to install, already pre-lubed this one. Okay. Now let's lube this other piston. And the same. I mean, you're probably, if you don't have practice, you're probably going to spend about an hour trying to do this. So don't get discouraged. If you don't have practice doing this, don't get discouraged. It's totally normal. It's totally fine. Totally normal. Alright, same scenario here. Let's drop it down. Go around in circles. Do the inside. There's no way to get on the one that is facing up. So sometimes turning the piston kind of does the trick if you can turn it. You already saw that one end wanted to fall in there. This is cooperating better than that other one. Attaboy. Alright, forward clutch drum. The forward clutch drum is the one that has the ring gear for the overdrive planet. This is the direct drum. The direct drum also holds the intermediate band on the outside, and it has a one-way sprag where the intermediate friction supply. Oh, sprag rotation clockwise if you're holding the drum this way. Let's go to the clutch press. Alright guys, so go ahead and drop our return spring in there. Get our little pliers, snap ring pliers. I think I'm in a bad spot here. Okay, I think well, let's go. Install our snap ring. Make sure that it's in the groove. Let me see if I can turn my foot press here. Get a better shot of it. There we go. That's much better. Let's get the other drum. So here's our direct drum. Alright. Get that in here. Okay. Compress it. Open the snap ring a little bit. Your snap ring pliers. Get it in there. Attaboy. Okay, we're going to go ahead and assemble the forward drum first. Now let's get some frictions to put on our forward drum. It takes 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frictions pre-soaked. Let's go ahead and put them here. Alright, so that's our 5 frictions. This washer here goes on the inside Let's go ahead and get some green assembly lube, put it in here. The plastic one goes on the front right here, like that. Let's go ahead and put this here. That goes first. Wavy or cushion plate, and then these two flats I always put them on the opening of the cushion plate just so they won't hang. The steel, friction, steel, friction. Now here, these are ID notches. Now these ID notches just let you know that the steel is thin. The ones that don't have the ID notches go on the direct drum, which are thicker steels. There we go. I mean, I could have gotten more technical information here, but I want to get this thing done and just show you the assembly process. I know I could have done some more prep work on the steels themselves. I kind of like to get a gasket remover, you know, the wafer pads, and kind of go through them a little bit. Here we have our overdrive clutch assembly, drum assembly. Go ahead and lube it up. Same thing with our new piston. Now if your transmission doesn't have a lot of miles, or if you're a tranny shop that wants to cut corners a little bit, 4L80Es, I mean, you can still rerun some of these. Depends on how many miles you got. I believe that after 80,000 miles, they're trash. But that's just my opinion. Just remember, my opinion against everybody else's. Forward drum takes a bearing, which is this one. It's kind of blackish on one side and kind of like taper like this. The flat side goes towards you. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. This is where your overdrive planet goes. There we go. Keep in mind that this transmission is dry, so you're going to have some noises. Don't worry about them. Return spring, the same here. And our snap ring. I'm going to go to the foot brace right quick and be right back. Okay, next we install our overdrive roller clutch. You just go down and go counterclockwise a little bit, and you want to test it to see if it's you're not going to have any issues with it. Get your overdrive planet. There we go. It dropped real good. I don't have my frictions installed yet. Counterclockwise rotation, locks to the clock. Counterclockwise rotation, locks to the clock. One-way sprag or roller clutch. Okay, now we'll get this thing out of here. Get our frictions, pre-lube. Alright, steel, friction, steel, friction, steel, friction, steel. It's a little stiff snap ring. Just be careful. Protect your eyes at all times. Use your safety glasses. Alright. Guide them in a little bit. This is kind of a little tricky because you have a bearing here that it's free. Well, it's not free, it's captured, but it's it moves a little bit. you have to align your sun gear, this being in the way. He has to engage in the roller clutch, and the outside of the planet has to engage in the clutches. So it's going to take a little bit of dance here, so just bear with me a little bit. It'll go in. Kind of like wiggle it. There we go. Bottomed out. And the way you can tell, you just stick your finger in there, and I mean, we are no light. Let's see. There we go. A little bit of light. Put that to the side, and now we're going to install our sealing rings here. I'm going to cut them off, and I like to install them in one piece. A lot of builders like to make a slant cut sideways, which is fine, but I prefer just to put them whole. I'm going to show you how. Okay, so here's the shaft. Here's the old sealing ring. And what I'm going to do, I don't have the camera set up right. Let me see if I can go up a little bit. Probably right there will be fine. I'm just going to go, I'm going to set it up here. I'm going to grab it with my fingers. I'm going to go in with my pick. Now this is a 45 angle degree. That's what they call it. I'm just going to stretch them up a little bit. Not a lot, because you'll break it. Stretch them up. You can probably actually bend the snap ring like this. And kind of like get it started on this end. Kind of go. You can use a special tool if you want to. You want to buy the special tool. If not, you can do it this way. It just takes a little bit of patience. There we go. We already passed one groove, and we're going to go to the second one. And we're going to use our forward drum to mold this sealing ring. Okay. Here's the forward drum. We're going to flip it over like that. Let's go ahead and lube it up. Enough lubrication in there. Let's go ahead and do the same thing with the shaft. Kind of like center it. Center it like that, and real slight taps. Get it with your fingers. Kind of like try to close the sealing ring with your fingers. Kind of like guide it in there. If you feel like it's not complying, kind of try to center it again. Little slight tap, wiggle it around, and there she went. In one piece. Let's go ahead and do the other one. Now what I did, you bend it like this, and then this end to try to put it inside the groove. It will not go in, but you can at least get it started like that and hold it with your thumb firmly. That's what I'm doing, holding it firmly. Takes a little bit of practice. I know that my fingers are slippery, but that's what it takes. I'm blocking it. There we go. I was blocking the view with my arm. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, kind of mold it in there. Same thing. Kind of tap it. This is easier because it's at the end. There we go. Now that we have it here, now let's go ahead and install this too. We're going to do it in the same way, in the same manner. So here's the tip of the shaft. I'm going to open it up a little bit. This is easier because it's almost the same fit as in the shaft. We're going to go past this groove. My motto is try to use the less special tools as possible, especially for you new tranny guys that want to get involved or want to join the transmission industry, transmission repair industry. Now I'm going to use my stator here. I'm going to lube it up. Now this is going to be a little bit tight because my bushing in the front, most of the 4L80s, they're kind of tight for the input shaft to go in. And it's a little bit kind of tricky whenever you try to mold one of this sealing rings. If you're going to do it before you change the bushings. That way you don't have an issue, because you need to kind of monitor and see where that. Gotta tap it in there. Tap it slowly. Okay. Let's see here. There we go. It's already in it. I need a rag to hold it because my hands are all slippery. Attaboy. Stick this back inside the forward drum again. And do the other one. Fed into the groove. And I need to wipe my hands off. Yeah, some of you guys are probably saying, well, wear some gloves. If I do, it's going to be worse. And you want precision right now. I hope I'm not talking too slowly. There we go. Get this thing out of the way. Okay. Let's check that out. Make sure that I'm not damaging it. There we go. It's going in. So there we have it. Both of them. Both sets of sealing rings installed. Now this goes here. There's a snapper that goes in here. I'll be right back. Okay, found the snap ring. Snapper goes here. Attaboy. Already assembled. Let's get our forward drum and just keep it in there so that our sealing rings stay nice and molded in. I'm going to go ahead and install my new sealing rings on the pump. There we go. Move it up. Move the shaft. That little bushing right here is a little hanging a little bit. Going past right here, got a little bit hung up. There we go. Alright, get that to the side. Let me go ahead and take this apart because they didn't took it apart and we need to put two lip seals here. I have the tool to do it, but I'm not going to use the tool. Alright, well, let me disassemble it. Alright guys, I already got it disassembled. I got my two new lip seals here. Here's the snap ring, here's the return spring, and here are the two assemblies. Go ahead and take our old lip seals out. Let's go ahead and put the new lip seals in. One goes on the has the lip seal going out on the outside. You're holding it like this, the lip seal goes that way. Here he takes one in the inside. The lip is on the inside. This faces you. Same thing here. Just lube it up. We're going to lube up a couple of areas here. We're going to lube up this area as well. This is where the other lip seal meets. They both meet in the opposite direction. Alright, let me get this to the side over here. And here we're going to lube this area. This area is where the lip seal from that piece over there does work. Just lube up this here. Make sure that your lip seal is installed correctly. Alright, here's the fun part without the tool. I'm going to try and do it here in this area. I usually put it against me, against my beer belly, and and do the thing here. Alright. So we start by one side, kind of like center it, and I'm holding only the piston, the inner piston, this one right here. I'm going to flip it over, and this is where I put it against me. We're going to go around like this. Now gently, I'm going to try and push. There we go. There he went. No special tool. We're going to use one of these drums. We're going to sit it on top of that. There's going to be our holding fixture right there. We're going to use our thumbs, and we're going to go ahead and install this snap ring right here. Start with one end. It's already, I try to put it in one of these lugs here. This keeps the snap ring from coming out, popping out. Kind of like if you're folding it, compressing the spring. My hands hurt. Alright, so there we have it, already assembled. Alright, well, let's go ahead and do our pump body here. Let me go get myself the drill bit that we're going to use for this one. I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to use a 1/4 inch drill bit, and we're going to go far enough until we get to this area here. Here you can see the hole protruding out a little bit. We're going to drill that return feed hole right there. You need to get me another drill bit. Alright, if you do plenty of these, I mean, just get plenty. There we go. Unexpected. The hole was real small, but now there we go. We're all the way in there. Now that we have our hole enlarged and our new bushing installed, we have two little notches here. And that's, we're going to stake the bushing so it won't spin. What I got here, it's a punch that's flat. I took all the sharpness off and it's flat. And that's actually what I use here. There we have it. I'm going to go ahead and install the front seal. Okay, so now we are going to assemble our pump. These are our pump gears. And whenever you take them out, just make sure that you mark them. I don't see any marks here. And some of the pump gears, they have little ID knots or holes like this one has them for. And this always faces towards you, and the slotted side goes towards the torque converter. So gives the reason that this will go like that. And we're going to lubricate a little bit, our pump gears, just for that initial start. This is a crescent type pump gear, as you can see the crescent, like the crescent on the moon. Of course, 4L80-E's and 4L60 700R4s, they are vane type units, the little squares with the rings, and you guys already know what I'm talking about. Alright, now we set our pump cover, kind of align it. I'm kind of guessing. I don't want to get in you guys' ways. This bolt right here, the one that has the little return fluid, lean it a little bit like this. It goes right here. Alright. That's 1, 2, 3, 5 bolts. Alright. Yeah, I know it's all crooked, but it's just a basic hose clamp. You can probably buy it at a hardware store, for a big pipe. This is what we're going to use today to align this one. Believe it or not, this thing works very, very good. Alright. Now you want to get where the two halves meet. Here the O-ring goes, but you can see another line here, and this line is you want to get the hose clamp in between. That line to be in the middle of the hose clamp, in other words. That way you can center both halves, and it works really good. It just takes a little bit of, you know, patience, kind of like to set it up. There we go. Alright. And basically the hose clamp, it has a bevel here. So probably going to sit there. There we go. Get it close to that. It's a little too big, the hose clamp itself, but if you can get one the right size, I mean, it don't really matter as long as you can guide it, align it. All right. Kind of hold the bracket. We're good. Kind of 14 to 16 pounds. You could probably go all the way up to 20. Alright. So now that we have this assembled already, let's go ahead and take our boost valve out. I forgot to show you the hole I drilled. Okay, I don't want to disassemble it again. Alright, well, I drilled this hole. It's a line to lube hole here with a real small drill bit. After I did this, I did that. But anyway, let's go ahead and replace our boost valve. Let's get this pump right here. The reason you want to replace this boost valve is because it wears out. And this is the main issue with this transmissions here. Wear on the boost valve itself, it creates high line pressure. The first symptom that you will notice, you will have no reverse. The direct drum, this right here, I've seen them where the snap ring goes, the whole top part of it just popped out. This is a very common issue, so yeah, love that stuff. All right. New boost valve. New snap ring. 2 new return springs. It's missing a piece. I'll just use the old one. Same thing. Drop your new spring. Drop your bumper spring in there. This gets a little tricky because it comes out like that. I mean, get a little bit of assembly lube. There we go. A little bit of this thing. Oh, don't forget your washer that holds the springs. And since we put a little bit of assembly lube inside the boost valve, it's going to help us hold it in place. Now what I do, I lift it up like this and hoping that the boost valve won't come out, because it will come out. Close my snap ring, go down on it, there we go, and hit it. Bounce it back and forth against the snap ring. There we go. pump O-ring. Same thing. A little bit up. There we go. Let's go back to the barrel of the case, and let's start installing these sub-assemblies into the barrel of the case. Alright guys, well, we're back inside the case. Now that I have my clutches kind of aligned there, and what we're aiming for is not having a lot of issues going all the way down. There is a special tool to grab this drum, and you can also fabricate yourself a tool. Oh, wow, that thing just need one more clutch, one more friction. I'm going to apply a little bit on my second clutch. See how it needs one more click, one more friction. We'll get there. There we go. We're all the way down. And the way to find out that you're all the way down, just apply your second clutch. Your drum should not move. There we go. All right. Now we put our frictions inside the direct drum. Steel, friction, steel, friction, steel, friction, pressure plate, snap ring. Make sure it's all the way in, the snap ring. Now we install our forward drum. There we go, bottomed out. Let's lubricate the case here where the overdrive piston housing is going to go. Here's the hole for our feed bolt for the overdrive piston housing. Here's the feed bolt for the overdrive piston housing. That's going to go there. Feed bolt hole, I meant to say. Align your hole, drop it down. This is a new bolt that comes in the kit, not in the overhaul kit, but on the shift kit itself. It's a tough bolt, it doesn't break. This is the aluminum original bolt. It's a feed bolt like the center support. They're hollow. If you can see through. This one comes with a little washer. I'm just going to put it in there for now by hand just to make sure that it's aligned. We'll talk about that later here in a minute. Alright, now that we have this parts aligned, now we install our overdrive section. There we go. Our overdrive frictions. Now this one's here. This ID groove goes towards the lug, or at the 12 o'clock position. I know I got you guys upside down. You're on the bell housing side that way, or on the top side of the transmission, and I would be on the pan side of the transmission. That's the way I set up the tripod. My overdrive friction, steel, friction, steel, friction, and my pressure plate. It holds on that lug. The early models did not have that lug, and the feed bowl was more prone to breaking because of that. Let's see here. There we go, all the way inside the groove. That's what we want to see. I think this transmission is a little bit too high on this. My tripod is not high enough. The pump is next. So we want to lube up where the pump o-ring is going to have to slide down. There's a little piece of gasket there. Let me try and get it out. Boy. Cool. Alright, we want to put a assembly lube on there as well. Our pan gasket, see how it says up? You can put it like this, but it'll be backwards. It goes like that. They're facing up. Usually the words will go right there on top of that, on that lug in the case. Here goes the pump. Here we go. I usually get a screwdriver to guide these bolts. Let's see. Hold that thought right there. Alright, and remember the bushing, that's the issue that we're having here. Just got to pass that. There we go. My bowl holes have to be aligned. And we are. Be right back with the pump bolts. Pump bolts, take seals on it. Make sure that you install your seals on all your pump bolts. Alright. Torque converter clutch O-ring goes on the shaft itself. Let me see if I can get you a shot of that. There we go. You want to lube that as well. Go ahead and drive those bolts in. difficult because of the bell housing. Give them a couple of tries, because remember, you're trying to compress the pump gasket. You want to make sure that it's nice and torqued well. See, my torque is still moving a little bit. Attaboy. Alright, now let's move on to the valve body. The fun part. Alright guys, I do not know what just happened. I clicked the wrong button and deleted the disassembly on the valve body. And I already had explained all the valves the way I have them here laid out, and the valve body. But anyways, I don't know what happened. Let's go ahead and check these solenoids right quick. What I'm going to do some resistance tests, and then I'm just going to test it with my internal amps on my meter here. Let me go, well, first let me view this in digital so that the camera will kind of pick it up better. Let's see. Let me give you a better shot. I know there's a lot of glare. There we go. Alright, so solenoids, and then I'll talk about the valve body. And actually I did that first, and then this was my last part, and then assembly and everything. Alright, well, Shift Solenoids, 20 to 40 ohms. The torque converter clutch PWM Solenoid is around 10 to 17 ohms. This is around maybe 4 to 5.5 ohms. This is a pressure control solenoid. Let's go ahead and check the pressure control solenoid first and see how much resistance we have. 4.2, 4.3 ohms. It's within the range. 21.3 ohms for one shift solenoid. 20.8 for the other. Remember, 20 to 40 ohms. And let's see how much we got on this one. 10.7. Yeah, it's around 10 to 17 ohms, somewhere around there. Now the pressure switch manifold, you can go and check it on the 3 pins that are in here, or you can just go on top of each end, and as you see here, it's normally open. And then what I do, I stick my finger in there, and it should go closed. See, we have 0 ohms resistance. That means that the switch closed, and when you let go of the pressure, it should go open. Let's check the other one. Let's go ahead and press it in. 0.3 ohms. Check the other one. 0 ohms of resistance. Normally open. Switch closed. That's what it is. It's just a switch. It's a pressure switch. Fluid pressure goes into that little cavity there, and it pushes the switch. Here we have, there we go, 0.6 ohms on this one. Now let me get set up here to do my amps internal. Let me go channel 1. Let me go to, where's amps at? Go to amps. I'm going to change my that to there. I think I need to go get me another lead. I'm going to need another lead. Okay, so we got, are you in the shot? Okay, cool. Alright, so we're probably going to go, okay, yes, I do need another lead. I'll be right back. Alright, now we're going to go, so we're actually going through my meter, coming out, and we're going to check, let me go on graph mode, 10 amps, 20 ohms. It should be around probably 0.60, 0.70. Let's see what we got. Okay, we don't have anything. Well, I need to turn this thing on. There we go. Alright. We got 0.0, 0.63, 0.56, 0.62, and you can hear it click. So I don't need to do any more testing on this thing. 0.65, 0.65, 10 ohms. It's going to be a little bit over 1 amp. 1.22. This is going to be around 2 point something amps. Let's see what we get. 2.88. They're good. All my electronics are good. Now I can continue with the valve body. And man, I hate it when this happens. I press the wrong button, and I'm going to have to go over the valve body all over again. Alright, well, no big deal. It's just time wasted tonight. But anyways, let's continue. Let's get this thing out of the way, and let's go through the valve body. Okay, let's get this electronics out of the way. They're in good shape. I ain't gonna worry about them. Alright, valve body. I already have all my valves out, and I had already relayed to you the main issues with these valve bodies. Here we have our 3/4 upshift valve, and it goes into this hole here. 3/4 upshift valve. There is an O-ring here, and this O-ring wears out, and when that wears out, actually the O-ring is just right here. I had showed that, you know, about that O-ring is flat. Supposed to be an O-ring, and it's flat. What happens is that whenever this O-ring wears out, fluid pressure losses. You will have fluid pressure loss, and it would fall out of fourth gear, fall out of overdrive, going in and out of overdrive, and I mean that's basically the issue that you would have. And you would also would have shift solenoid codes. All right, so we got shift solenoid A, or shift solenoid 1-2 shift solenoid and 2-3 shift solenoid. They go mounted here. I mean, unfortunately, I showed, you know, the disassembly of the valve body, but I guess we're going to go backwards here. This is a 2-3 upshift valve, and if you look at it, it has some identification ribs there, and they go on the 2-3 upshift valve, and then the 1-2 doesn't have anything on it, just the spring, and there's no identification for that. Now on the opposite end, the pressure control solenoid goes here. We have the torque converter clutch PWM torque converter clutch PWM valve, which is this one. And I always like to use a Sonnax valve that has a sealing ring in this area. Unfortunately, I was not provided with one, so I'm not going to put one in there. And the next valve here is the accumulator valve, which is on the very end, which is this one. Now there is a spring that comes in the shift kit, so we are going to put that in. And the middle valve is the actuator feet limit valve. Yeah, that's the actuator feet limit valve. I got him backwards here. But anyways, let's go ahead and assemble this thing right quick. Let's start with the oh, and there's a capture check ball in here, and you don't need to worry about removing that. It's just a little check ball. All right, now let's go ahead and get our 1-2 valve in there. We need to push it with something because we need to put a roll pin in there. Let's see. It's always a great idea to put assembly lube on the spring, because if not, you're going to be sitting on top of the spring. There we go. That way it won't fall off and it will go straight in. Get my roll pin in here. Get it upside down. It's not complying. Be will comply. There we go. Alright. Get this other pliers, because these, they don't go deep enough. Got the wrong pliers for that, for the job. Get the right tool for the job. Alright, we put our other valve in there. We put our roll pin, start it, and then push the valve, the roll pin, 3/4 upshift. Let's get it in there. The spring makes it a little bit difficult sometimes. Now we get the good assembly lube. Go ahead and put this in the bore. Now you want to, for the check ball, for ease of assembly, use the same yellow one. You want that check ball to melt, that assembly lube to melt right quick. And then you push in until the O-ring seals. And the roll pin on this one goes all the way to the outside. Now I talked about this filter on the disassembly and about all the trash that's accumulated in there. And this is fiber, torque converter clutch fiber. The torque converter clutch failed in this unit. Okay, now let's assemble the opposite end. So here we have our accumulator valve, and we're going to go ahead and install. Let's go quickly. Let's go quickly now because unfortunately we lost a lot of time. Oops. Yeah, that would happen. It comes with the accumulator valve O-ring. Now there's some modification that we're going to do on this filter here. And I'm sorry guys that I lost that that file. Once I put it on my computer, I'm going to see if I can retrieve it. I seriously doubt it, but anyways, here is our accumulator valve, and what we're going to do, we're going to drop our valve inside the bore. So we're going to install only the inner spring, which is, that's what this one had, just the one spring. And then we're going to install our end plug. Let's lubricate it a little bit. Get this thing in there. Now you want to push it far enough so that the roll pin will go through. There we go. Okay. Now we got our actuator feet limit valve. Now I always like to use the Transgo actuator feet limit valve for this because they do wear. And what an actuator feet limit valve is, it's a solenoid regulator, like Ford calls it Ford solenoid regulator valve, and that's exactly what it does. It regulates the feed oil that goes into your solenoids, and if you have excessive pressure going to the solenoids, it will flood them, and you will have like high gear starts. And if you have under pressure, it'll slip through the gears. This is our torque converter clutch valve, and it goes right behind the PWM solenoid. So we're going to push it as far as we can in so that we can install the roll pin. And I talked about this too, this little filter. You want this filter here, you want to protect your pressure control solenoid. Okay, now here is the fun part. This is the original filter, and it came with that. It comes with that O-ring. We're gonna put it without the O-ring, and the reason why is because it's gonna take this seat right here, and what I explained. Why do we put this thing in there? You know, when I was disassembling it, is because this plastic gets very brittle and it cracks, and it actually allows lube oil to go into the manual valve, and it would actually push your manual valve from drive to neutral, or if it's in neutral, it will put it in reverse, and you will actually see the shifter itself move. So let's go ahead and install this. That's why this is made out of metal. So you won't have that issue anymore. Let's go ahead and install it. And yeah, it goes in this position here. So you put it all the way in, and then you get your pick, and you kind of hold it so it won't come out. I just used and it did came out a little bit. I used a magnet, and then we put our filter there with the orange spring, like that, and the roll pin. This comes in the kit as well, so that's what we were going to actually put here. Start the roll pin a little bit, just make sure that it doesn't jam the, and then it is jamming. There we go. You want to make sure that it's aligned, and it should go. There we go. Now I have already installed new O-rings here on my Shift Solenoid. Let me let this valve body down. Let's go ahead and lube them up. This one don't need to be lubed. Okay, and as I mentioned, the brackets are different. They cannot be installed incorrectly. Go ahead and flip this thing over, and I took them out with a Torx 27. That's what we're going to use to reinstall the bolt. Okay, that's one, that's two. I'm going to take my gloves off. I already did all the cleaning. I don't need them. Okay. So we got our PWM Solenoid here in this position. Put it in there. Install our clip. Okay. And now our pressure control solenoid. It's held by a T27 as well, and it has a bracket, and the bracket has a little toe that holds it. Okay, goes like that. Kind of start it a little bit. And the solenoid itself has a cutout for it. There we go. Alright. So now I need to go get the spacer plate, and I need to get the O-rings for this. Be right back. Alright, I have the spacer plate in the machine, in the washer machine, because the gasket is real stuck to the plate. Now let's install our accumulators here. So this is our fourth accumulator. It goes in this position. Just lube it up and install it there. This is our third accumulator, the long one. And as you see here, these are D-rings. There is D like on the outside and flat on the inside. They're called D-rings. Go ahead and install it. While that plate sits in hot water, see, we're going to be able to succeed here. third accumulator. Press it in. When I actually disassembled the valve body, this came out, and I pointed that out to you guys, but unfortunately, I'm gonna see if I can try and retrieve that. I don't know if it's gonna be possible or not, but okay. So here we are with our valve body again, and the long spring goes here, and the short spring goes here. The long spring is for third accumulator for the long accumulator, and the short spring goes for the short accumulator. I think that's easy enough for you guys to remember where they go. Long with the long and short with the short. Can't be easier than that. Alright, well, I'm going to put this to the side because I'm going to have to drill a hole for the exhaust because we're installing the Transgo shift kit in here, and we're going to need to drill some exhaust holes in the valve body so that we don't have a runaway line pressure. It's actually going to go here. And if we do have runaway line pressure, that's going to be a pressure relief valve.
Alright, man, we have to recuperate here for another time, man. Come on.
Alright guys, well here's our valve body now, and I drilled a couple of holes. Let me show you right quick. We did a EPC release or relief exhaust. We cross drilled this wall right here, and we did an exhaust hole on this side. And on our valve body, I drilled oversized this hole here, that hole there, and actually I need to do this one here too with the 3/16 drill bit that is provided, which I almost forgot. Let me just make sure that that's the one. As you see here, 3/16 drill bit provided. We have a bolt hole here, a hole on the top, and then it's going to be the next one here. Go ahead and drill that. That's going to be our exhaust for EPC Solenoid exhaust. All right. Now that we have all of our bolt holes enlarged, let's go ahead and put our big spring here, short spring here. I'm going to put two guide pins there. Our valve body gasket, separator plate. Now I'm gonna lube this area here because accumulator gasket is gonna go here. Oh, backwards. Turn it backwards, man. Put it right. All right, I'm putting it right. There we go. Then third accumulator, fourth accumulator, new D-rings in there. Go ahead and put them in there. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm still a little bit upset of hitting the wrong button. Anyways. We're going to retorque those anyways. That impact is not that strong. If I was using the 20 volt one, yeah, I mean, that would be over tight. But not with that little 12 volt one. Put some assembly lube here on the spacer plate. Go ahead and install the other valve body gasket. And it comes with this. It's a pressure relief setup here. You have a spring that you would actually go on the valve body itself. Let me try to assemble this right quick here in front of you guys. You got to be able to see the letters or the words that says Transgo to the top, and then install the E-clip like that. There we have it. And what he does It sits right here, and that spring is a spring tension, and whenever you have a high line pressure, it will allow fluid to escape through here and eliminating parts breakage. Alright, let me set you up next to the transmission, and let's go ahead and install this valve body on the transmission itself, so we can go ahead and finish this 4L80-E transmission rebuild. See you in a bit. Okay, so we are now ready for valve body installation. And I was talking about that tough bolt right here for a fourth clutch apply, and that tough bolt, you air check your fourth clutch there, intermediate, and then you plug one hole and one is third, and the other one will be low reverse or reverse. And here in the front it's a little tricky, so I use my rag here to kind of seal a little bit. You gotta get it in the hole. Yeah, you can't hear it that much, that well. Okay, there's one. And there's the other one, leaking a little bit of air. I'm checking the coast clutch drum. There we go. Now we have a good seal with the rag. There's the other one. Alright, well, let's go ahead and install our intermediate servo. This is our second accumulator piston, and our reverse servo apply. Go ahead and get this thing in there. Gonna go ahead and install our metal gasket there. Our servo cover. Takes six bolts. I'm going to use a 10mm to install it. Let's go ahead and drive them in a little bit. Okay, now let's torque them. Supposedly they should be 17 pounds or 18 pounds, depending on where you get the information from. Let's see, we're going to do 17. There we go, 17 pounds. Let's go ahead and torque them. That's not even tight. Okay. That's one. Let's do this. Let me get around you guys. Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. Okay, do this one. And let me get around you guys again. Sorry, I didn't mean to be in your way, but if you're telling me I'm in your way, just let me know. I'll get out of the way. Alright, just making sure they are nice and tight. Attaboy. Now for our valve body installation, let's go ahead and install our valve body. Actually, what I want to do first, I want to install the wiring harness in there first. There we go. Get that harness out of the way. Now we drop our valve body. Just make sure that your manual valve, it's latched. Oh man, you ain't gonna be able to see that. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can see a little bit sticking out here. So you want your manual valve latched in. Okay, now we're going to put our pressure switch manifold there. Install our bolts. Actually, I am missing one. It's right here. Okay. D10 roller. Now the rest of the bolts. Now this one with the bracket goes here. That holds our harness. And the rest of them, they're all the same. Alright. We get some more bolts.
Hey, you're running out of bolts, man.
Yeah, well, that's an indication that we're getting done.
Yeah, buddy.
And you know what? Check balls. And make sure that these are not. This is the only thing about doing this late at night. I cannot do this during the day. It's very difficult. But anyways, things happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm missing the check ball. Be right back. Alright guys, things like this happen. Keep it on the positive side of the scale. Just have fun with it.
Yeah, buddy, let's have fun with this thing, man.
Yep. Alright, here we go. Now, these two bolts right here, we're not going to install them yet. We need to put our pressure relief valve here. You don't want to miss this. You don't want that to be open, or else you will lose all EPC pressure and you will burn your transmission. Just make sure that that's there and you'll be just fine. Alright, let me get my 10mm socket here. Kind of drive him in a little bit. And as you see here, I'm not sending them home. Just missed my valve right there. Go up a little bit. There we go. You got it latched on the outside of the valve. Just pay attention there. Make sure that don't happen to you guys. Get my 8. Alright. There's the 9 pounds. Alright, come on, come on, come on. Not all the way to 7, 8.11. Let's go. Attaboy. That's fine, 9.1. It doesn't feel like it's tight, but it is. It's a long handle. I know this video is going to be a little bit too long, but we want to make it complete. Make sure that you guys have it. If you want to rebuild your own 4L80-E, everything is here. Nothing's missing except for those files. But it was a disassembly anyways of the valve body. And now this right here, you need to have it. This is our rear lube. Remember? Rear lubrication. That's why this bolt is still here. And you have a bracket here that holds it. Like that. Go ahead and drive that thing in there. Right. Torque it. See how I drove it with my impact, with the little 12-volt impact, and it wasn't all the way in there? I still needed to torque it. Know your tools, guys. Know your tools. You don't want to over tighten. You don't want to have valves sticking because the valve body got warped because you used a 1/2 inch impact on little bitty bolts. All right, we have them all torqued. Now let's connect our solenoids. This goes here. This goes on the other one. Let's go underneath the pipe. We have our temperature sensor here. This is our temperature sensor right there. This goes latched right there. Let's go in and loosen up this bolt right here. Install this other bracket there. Connect our EPC and our lockup solenoid, 4 converter clutch solenoid. See how it sounded like it went all the way in with the impact? Need to recheck them. Recheck them, guys. It doesn't have to be a digital torque wrench like the one I got. I bought this from Mac Tools. You can buy one from Snap-on. You can buy one from Harbor Freight. You can buy one at Sears. As long as it does the job. That's the most important. Okay, now our filters next. Let's go ahead and take this old filter seal. I'm just using a cooler. Put it right there. Use 2 hammers, lube it up. And install our filter, reusable pan gasket, and our transmission pan. The rest of the stuff is external. And if you're not subscribed yet, guys, go ahead and click on me on the top right hand of the screen. That'll take you to my channel. You can go there and subscribe. Also, on the right of your screen, once you're in my channel, there's the Features Channels tab. There's some other professional transmission rebuilders and some other guys that do transmission work as well. I have their channels listed there. And on the very bottom of my channel, there is a playlist from them. Barely gathering videos from them guys to add to the playlist. So once you subscribe to my channel, go check them out. Our focus here is to tranny builders get together and share what we know, our experiences. They may not have a full rebuild videos, but extension housing, manual lever position sensor, input and output speed sensors. I mean, I got a tear down video on this transmission. If you want to go check it out for the externals, I mean, you can go ahead, but this is as far as I'm going to go for it tonight, and thank you guys for watching.